Albert Pike, he talks about the concept of Lucifer.
Hmm.
Now people hear that word and they get very upset and but they need to go back and study Latin, because if you look at the root word, it means bringer of light. And so what they do is they misquote Albert Pike and take him out of context, and they want to try to paint Masons as devil worshippers, and that's nonsense. That is not the case. Um, and or try to say that we're involved in some worldwide conspiracy to dominate the world. I mean, if you ever see Masons try to plan a party, you know that we're not the New World Order at all. Um, have Masons been involved in a lot of things around the world? Absolutely. But if you look at America, most of the founding fathers were Masons: George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Paul Revere, John Hancock, Francis Lewis of Francis Lewis Boulevard fame. And then looking around the world, you had Simon Bolivar, who's considered the George Washington of South America, was a Freemason. In Italy, Giuseppe Garibaldi. In Mexico, Benito Juarez. In France, Danton, who was part of the French Revolution. In the Philippines, you had Jose Rizal. So Freemasons have been at the forefront of liberation movements all over the world. And the liberation movements that they were a part of was not a grab for power, but an attempt to give power back to the people. If you look at the Mexican Revolution and the French Revolution and the American Revolution, and the revolution in Poland, in the Philippines, it was all designed to give power back to the people and to free them from the yoke of oppression. And wherever you see that, you see Freemasons involved. Even in World War II, both Winston Churchill and Franklin Delano Roosevelt were Freemasons. And in the aftermath of that, you had the rebuilding of Europe after the war under what was known as the Marshall Plan. George Marshall was a Freemason who, I believe, he won the Nobel Prize for Peace for his efforts. And the president at that time was Harry Truman, who was also a Freemason and a 33rd degree Freemason at that.
Okay. Um, Understanding that this is a secret organization, what can you tell us about the inner worshipings? The first, for instance, the degree rituals.
Well, there's not much that I can reveal to you about,
Right.
the ceremonies that we actually perform. When you join the Masons, basically there's only 3 degrees that you have to take: the first, second, and third. The first is referred to as the entered apprentice degree. The second degree is the fellow craft degree, and the third degree is known as the master mason degree. After that, you need not do anything else. You're a full-fledged member of the fraternity, and you can travel to any corner of the world and visit a Masonic lodge, so far as that you can prove yourself to be one, because they may ask you to recite something or to show them the secret handshake or do a few signs to prove that you indeed are a Freemason. Um, if you want additional knowledge, if you want additional light, there are other degrees that you can take. In the Scottish Rite, you can take from the fourth to again the 32nd degree. And there's also what's known as the York Rite, which consists of the Royal Arch, the Cryptic Council, and then the Commandery, which consists of the Knights Templar. And there are a lot of other, side Masonic groups that one can belong to. Um, Even if I told you what the ceremonies were, they probably would not